to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and you're about to listen to a hypnosis session all about a fear or phobia or anxiety around flying insects like bees. Now, the client that I was working with had already made a lot of progress. They had gone from freaking out if there was a flying insect or a bee anywhere near them to being able to see them and even kind of get them out of the home where they were living in. But they had a second holiday home in the south of France, and they were going to be visiting that. And this home had a beautiful garden, and they knew that a beautiful garden with lots of flowers in summer is going to attract lots of flying insects. And they didn't want this holiday home and this vacation time to be a time of anxiety. So this hypnosis session uses a metaphor, it uses levels of disassociation, it uses timeline therapy, but it also uses a reframe, and that reframe is to anchor the resource state of fascination and curiosity as a stepping stone to get to ambivalence. Most people don't want a future where they are super confident and kind of fascinated around whatever thing is currently causing them anxiety. Actually, they want to be neutral to it. But to use an analogy, if you've got, if we think of chemistry, if you've got a container of acid and you add water to acid, it's still acidic. It just becomes slightly less acidic because you dilute it. If, however, you've got the container of acid and then you have an equal measure of equal intensity alkaline, so the other end of the pH scale, you can neutralize that because it has a similar level of intensity. If you've got high levels of anxiety, you need a high level of an opposing emotion like fascination to neutralize it. And that's how you can get to being simply unbothered or feeling neutral or ambivalent around the particular trigger. There's a bit going on here. It was created for a client with specific circumstances. They had a holiday home in France, and the particular flying insect that most bothered them were large bees, like bumblebees. Generally the safer of the bees, but they're quite big. Your flying insect might be different, or it might be there's a different bug that triggers you. So if you like the idea of working with me directly and having a bespoke session with me, click the first link in the show notes or check out my website, adamcox.co.uk, and there you'll be able to book a consultation call with me. And if you use the coupon code podcast, you'll get that at a 50% discount because you found me through the podcast. So remember that code podcast, but it's also in the show notes. So for now, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be distracted or disturbed. Relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in that resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, give yourself permission to release any tension, any stress, any worries. That's it. And if you need to position your body in such a way where relaxation becomes more natural, more effortless, that's it. You can do that. And as you breathe in, just scan your body for any clues of tension in your forehead, your jaw, your neck, or your shoulders. And just imagine that when you breathe in, you're breathing in pure, distilled, resourceful relaxation. And as you exhale, allow your outward breath to be the release valve. That's it. Give permission to release, to let go. That's it. And so as you breathe in deeper. And as you exhale for longer. That's it. And maybe you notice that the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you can feel. And the more relaxed you can feel, the deeper you breathe. And what if, as your body relaxes, that your imagination awakens? I wonder if you can imagine a home away from home. The kind of place that is near the sea, has access to sunshine in the summer, and a garden filled with colour. And I wonder if you can imagine landing on a runway at an airport, leaving an airport there in the south of France, having a taxi or driving to that home by the sea. And as you breathe in, feel pure confidence. And as you breathe out, you may begin to imagine arriving there at your holiday home in France. Perhaps you notice the warmth of the air. Maybe patterns, colors, architecture, the familiar, ambience, the essence of the place. Perhaps a place connected with relaxation and freedom, and time away from ordinary routines. And you can imagine taking that pathway into the garden. And just notice what you notice. Maybe there's a fragrance or a smell of certain flowers. Or maybe you notice the purple and the blue pigmentation in the petals of the flowers. Perhaps the gentle movement of leaves, or the warmth of the sun, or the quiet sounds of nature all around you. And I want you to imagine this is a garden of infinite curiosity and fascination. But let's start with things that are completely within your control to get fascinated about. I want you to notice that if you really look into a flower, you see things you never saw before. That actually it's not just one color, but hundreds of shades of a similar color. Tiny hairs on a stem, tiny elements of pollen, the biology of a flower. And I want you to feel a growing sense of curiosity and fascination at all things in the garden, where the shadows tend to fall depending on the time of the day. How sounds change, how the clouds move. And I want you to imagine feeling safe and confident there in that garden, almost like curiosity and confidence has rippled through time away from being 5 or 6 years old and being curious about a bee on a bush, rippling through space and time all the way up to the present, and allow yourself to update 2 or 3 memories, changing them from anxiety to pure curiosity, confidence, and fascination. You decide the age, you decide the location, but just imagine almost like when you're daydreaming. You're daydreaming in the garden of a memory that your unconscious is updating to make an anxious moment curious. And while you're there in the garden, just imagine, just almost like a hummingbird, just floating down to a flower, you see a bumblebee, just moving, honing in to different flowers. And you don't need to approach it, but also you don't need to avoid it. You can simply notice it. And because you are safe, your mind is free to become curious. Curious about the way it moves. Curious about how it chooses one flower and then another. Perhaps fascinated by those tiny wings, or the colors and patterns on its body, and the extraordinary precision with which it navigates its world. The bee is not thinking about you. The bee has a bigger purpose to fill, a duty, a responsibility to the hive, following its purpose, moving between flowers, gathering what it needs, and continuing with its life while you continue with yours. And I want you to notice someone nearby that you love, that seems calm, unperturbed, unbothered. And notice how they can see the same bee without creating any meaning. And that reminds you that it's not the insect itself that creates an emotion. It's purely about the meaning that a mind has learned to associate to it. But the good news is that meanings can change and responses can update, because you have already changed. Recall that recent memory of calmly guiding a bee out of a window. That may not have been possible a year before, and yet it was not just possible, but something you experienced. Therefore, you have irrefutable evidence that emotions are not static and that behavior can change. You've already experienced memories that once produced anxiety, losing the ability to do just that. And all of that is evidence. Evidence that the old response was never permanent. And now, while remaining in this beautiful, peaceful garden there in the south of France, I want you to imagine hovering up and seeing a line that goes back to your past and a line that goes into your future. Visit those 2 or 3 memories and just check that they have updated. Moments of anxiety have been replaced with moments of curiosity and fascination. And then go forwards in time and imagine yourself, perhaps in a French garden, looking fascinated or curious or calm or confident. And then go forwards in time, a month or 2 later, maybe in your usual home, and see yourself not needing to close a window just because a bee flies through it, and not even needing to guide it out, just allowing it to come and go as it pleases, while you remain unbothered. That's it. And maybe imagine yourself a year in the future, but an entirely different version of you returns to that French holiday home, where actually any thoughts of bees or insects either become irrelevant or just a reminder of how much you've changed. That's it. And if you could imagine the past and the future updating to a confident, curious, fascinated or ambivalent version of you, just let me know by nodding your head. And just step into that future version of you, maybe a year from now, and feel how good it would feel to be in a situation that once would have been impossible and now feels completely natural. Maybe it's a garden, a park, or somewhere else. And notice how much this is now within your comfort zone, to the extent that you don't even need to feel fascinated. You simply couldn't care less. What if the goal all along wasn't confidence, but confidence and fascination was just a stepping stone to a feeling of being completely unbothered? Connect with that feeling, like you're giving a destination, GPS coordinates for your unconscious mind, so that everything that you do relating to flying insects steers you in this direction. And imagine you've had all of that time there in that home away from home. And on the very last day, just imagine maybe you're doing something deep in conversation, just relaxing in a garden, maybe enjoying a meal or a drink, and connect with the feeling that there is a bee there, and you can appreciate it and feel calm and relaxed in its presence without having to do anything. And what if all along this was more than just an opportunity to change how you think about a bee or an insect? Don't be surprised if this just becomes a springboard for a future idea or epiphany, where you become aware that a different fear or limitation is restricting your choices. At which point, all of your progress with insects and bees becomes all the evidence you need to believe that you can make this new change also. And as you hold that thought, imagine floating all the way back from France, from the garden, from the past and the future, all the way back to the present, with a new meaning, a new paradigm, a new perception, and a feeling of excitement that you can't wait to see some bees in France. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Connect and calibrate into the here and the now as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. If you've enjoyed this episode or got some value from it, please give it a 5-star rating and review. And maybe you know someone that would also benefit from this particular episode, in which case share the episode with them so they can also get the benefit too. And if you would like to listen to this episode where it's just the hypnosis, so no intro, no outro, no explanation, just the hypnosis and completely ad-free, there will be a link in the description where you can subscribe at a very low cost and only get access to the hypnosis. So if that's of interest, please check that out. Thank you again for being a regular listener of The Hypnotist, and I'll see you again soon for more.